And this is pertinent to a cartoon that was released by an eminent Canadian newspaper which mocks PM Justin Trudeau. Of course, viewers, you can see this cartoon flashing on your screens, and I am going to in fact go to the big screen over there to give you an explanation on this cartoon. So there you see the cartoon. As you can see the cartoon over here. All right, you can see the cartoon over here, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's written on the top. Now on the top we can see that what's written is, "He who rides a tiger is afraid to dismount." And we can see this tiger, and this is very well said, because what we see over here is a large tiger with its claws out, with its big teeth, staring at this man over here with torn clothes and an absolutely petrified look on his face. Yes, viewers, this is PM Justin Trudeau. And this over here, the national animal of India, the tiger, you can see over here, this is a visual representation of India and the befitting response that India is giving to these allegations made by this man. And if you focus over here on the tail, you will see an inscription over here which says INDIA, India. So of course, viewers, this is a visual representation of India, and if you see what the three people sitting on the back of the tiger, you see the US President Joe Biden over here, you see UK PM Rishi Sunak over there, and you see the Australian PM sitting right there. So this cartoon in fact illustrates how India is being backed by all the world leaders, and how Trudeau is in fact in a sad and sorry state. I'm going to in fact go back, and I'm going to rope in Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava on this. Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava, we just had a look at this cartoon. Now, what are your first thoughts on this cartoon that I've just presented?
Well, India's leadership is very much visible on the world scene, and India is obviously a country we do not believe in provoking others, but if someone provokes us, we will give a befitting reply. And that is precisely what this cartoon says. And when we give that reply back to the aggressor, then obviously entire world comes up with us. And that is precisely where this is, in this cartoon, it is quite visible that a tiger is there, and the world leaders are very much there with India. And the kind of a response India is giving to Justin Trudeau's misdeeds and the kind of wrong moves and he has taken against India. I think the kind of response it deserves. I think India is giving that response. And India is a very strong, powerful nation. And India is, as we know, that is the largest democracy on the planet, fastest growing economy in the world. Also, India is a big military power with nuclear capabilities. Also, India's soft power, if you look, that is also very much there. Civilizational state we are. But if someone tries to harm us, I think we will respond it back. And that is precisely what this tiger and the posture this tiger is having is clearly showing. And I think it's a right cartoon at this point of time. I think Justin Trudeau, it's high time that he realizes the mistakes he's making, blunders he's making, rather more than mistakes. And I think this kind of moves which he has taken against India, I think he has already harmed India-Canada relationship. But if he realizes and takes a collective course, I think that will be better for him as a leader. Also, it will be better for India-Canada relationship. I hope that wisdom prevails at the end of it. I hope that it prevails sooner than later.
Right, so we're also being joined by Major Mohammad Ali Shah. He's a defense expert. Good morning, sir, and thank you so much for joining in on NewsX. Now, this cartoon that we've just taken a deep dive into, do you think this is the representation of the views of the people in Canada? All right. We seem to be having some connectivity issues with Major Mohammad Ali Shah's connectivity, but meanwhile I am going to in fact proposed the same question to Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava. So do you think this is a representation of the views of people of Canada?
Certainly, Justin Trudeau is being heavily criticized by the opposition parties of Canada. And if you look at the statement given by the Premier of British Columbia, he said very clearly that the Canadian intelligence did not provide them any credible, briefing. Whatever the briefing he got from the Canadian Central Intelligence is available on the internet. And kind of words Justin Trudeau has used, credible allegation, etc., is a completely meaningless words. And obviously he is making false accusation. These accusations which he is making against India is a baseless, motivated, absurd allegations he is making against India, which will have no ground. And obviously he is making mockery of himself by using such word like credible allegation, etc. So I think if you look at, and I think in the one recent opinion poll survey, he's not doing well. And I think that with this kind of approach he's having, the kind of negative mindset he's having, for to get some political benefits, he is sacrificing, attempting to sacrifice India-Canada relationship. I think this kind of moves will make him very unpopular. And opposition parties are obviously very much critical of him. And the next election, I don't think that he's going to do well. And I think that when Conservative Party comes into power, we can expect better, relationship between India and Canada. It will come back on track. And I am sure that all efforts, all the wise people, all those who are having constructive, positive mind with regard to India-Canada relationship will do their best, including our Sikh brothers and sisters. There are just handful of people there. Those people are terrorists, extremists, and they are obviously working against India. They are working against Canadian society too, because they are pursuing the agenda, which is obviously a violent agenda, and that is a menace for any society. So Justin Trudeau is not realizing that by protecting handful terrorists and extremists, he is harming Canadian society too. I would like to recall here the incident of Kanishka bombing in 1985, where the most of the people in that flight were Canadian citizens. And Canada has already, suffered a massive blow because of that Kanishka bombing. And Justin Trudeau, it appears that he has not learned any lesson that any country, whichever provides shelter and support to the terrorists and extremists, what happens to them? Look at the Pakistan. At this point of time, Pakistan, Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan is attempting to rule over, Pakistan. These are the same terrorists which Pakistan harbored and supported and gave them all sorts of training, etc. The same terrorists, they are attempting and going ahead and attacking Pakistan's army and ISI and police forces. So similar kind of things has happened in Kanishka bombing. So I think Justin Trudeau will have to understand that there is a difference between the values of democracy, freedom of expression, assembly, etc., and the tendencies of extremism and terrorism. That he is unable to is failing to understand, and that will make him a very isolated leader, very unpopular leader in the international scene. Also, he appears to be isolated. The kind of gesture he showed during this G20 Leaders Summit, this clearly shows his isolation, and on domestic circles also. If he thinks that by pursuing this divisive agenda, terrorist and extremist, this kind of agenda, I think he wants to come back in power again, or he wants to continue being in power for a very long time. I do not think that that's going to happen.
Absolutely, sir, absolutely. I think Major Mohammad Ali Shah's connectivity is now stable. So, sir, if you can hear me, what are your reactions to this cartoon that has been released by an eminent Canadian newspaper?
That's a very good question. Firstly, I do not think that the cartoon would represent Canada or the sentiments of people of Canada, but most certainly the sentiments of the individual, the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Very apt for him, I would say, because Justin Trudeau is not Canada. Canada is not Justin Trudeau. He is their leader right now, yes. Whether people like it or not, the fact is that. Now, I would like to state one thing. India and Canada are not enemies. They are not at war, unlike India and Pakistan or India and Canada or India and China, sorry. India and Canada were friends, were very, very good friends in fact. And I would say they still are friends, and I hope they continue remaining good friends. Justin Trudeau is being very, very immature. He is just trying to retain his chair, his seat of power, at the risk of actually endangering the friendship of which could be a very good friend to them. He is just sacrificing or endangering our relationship with Canada. Now, who suffers in the bargain? The normal, simple, common Canadians, they suffer. The Indians in Canada, they won't know where to look because, let's accept it, they are there. Many of them have taken nationality. Many of them are applying for PR, or they are giving IELTS, or they want to migrate to Canada. Now, who suffers? The common person suffers in this because of one person's immaturity. It's very immature, it's common sense to make allegations on anyone without having any proof. I will not make allegations on you when I do not have a proof and end up cutting a sorry figure myself, that too on a large international committee, a large international scale. Like in G20, Justin Trudeau came forward and he accused India for having killed Niger on the soil. No. When there is no proof, we will accept it gracefully. If there's proof, if there's evidence, and if we have to accept it, we will accept it gracefully. But when you accuse somebody without having any proof, it is ethically, morally, and rightly wrong. So most certainly, when you ask about this cartoon, that it's very difficult to come out of power, because I will tell you one thing. Justin Trudeau has got supporters who support Khalistan. And these supporters, let me put things in perspective in a very, very crystal clear mind for everyone to understand this. Now, people who support Khalistan are helping Justin Trudeau to retain his seat, to be in power. So who would he actually favor? Will he favor his international relationships with the country, or even support rogues who are supporting
Absolutely,
him?
sir, absolutely.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.